Hi, it's been a while since I've come and done a video. So we finally got moved into the new house and that's going well. And I've been doing lots of journaling online on the Facebook page. And so I've kind of kept up with some of that, just not in video form. Looking for my stir. Here I'm making some chicken and dumplings. And I wanted to talk a little bit today about homeschooling and what you should be teaching your child in homeschool. I have seen that society has tried to keep the playing field even by getting parents to teach what they're teaching in the public schools and just doing that at home. And I know that a lot of you are thinking that that will keep your child in line with what everybody else has knowledge of. And let me explain that you should not be trying to teach what they're teaching in schools. All of the children that are in public schools will have that knowledge and will be competing against each other in those realms. And if you have the opportunity to homeschool, or not have the opportunity, but if you make that a priority, which you should be, then there's some things that you should be teaching your child that will give them a better life skill set that will be more in line with a life that will bring them not just money. The thing of having to have lots of money, many people will tell you that is not the key to happiness for your children. That is not a key that will make them say, oh, all of this was worth it. That's not what's going to make life worth living. Let me tell you that. So let's talk about what you should be teaching in homeschool. They should know the basics of survival, which means that they should know how to make their own clothes, how to clothe themselves, how to make a pair of shoes. They should know how to do that. They should have the skills and the tools to do that, because that's a necessity in our world, considering that we come out naked and barefoot in a world that's very sharp, although you will adapt over generations if you don't use shoes to the ground. And the other thing that you should be teaching them, sorry, I'm gonna go grab some salt. The other things that you should be teaching them is how to plant their own food, how to gather food that's already there in your local area, what plants are there, what plants can be used for medicine, what plants, roots, those kinds of things are edible and which ones are poisonous. They should absolutely know which ones are poisonous, which ones are, poisons can also be used as a weapon. So knowing which plants and stuff are not edible and are poisonous also gives them a little bit of a edge of safety and security in a world that is becoming I don't even know how to put what they've done. I'm not sure how to call what they've done. But it does give them a weapon that not other people, that is readily available, and that is something that they would know that nobody else knows. And you should know how to build a shelter in your area. So if you live in a mountainous area or in a jungle area or canyons or those types of things, you should know how to build a house in just a matter of a few days, either a temporary shelter, actually probably a temporary shelter and a more permanent shelter, so that they have a place to stay while they're building something more substantial. What else should your children know? They should absolutely know how money works. They should know how credit cards work. They should know to stay away from credit cards and how much They end up paying for something if they buy it with a credit card and pay it off over a period of 5 years. They should know how to rely on themselves for what they use on a daily basis. If they are dependent on something, they should absolutely know how to provide it for themselves. I can't tell you that I would completely ignore society. I would not do that to them. I think that it's a very good chance that if you train them how to do all of this stuff, that they will opt to go back into society and do something in society. So you should prepare them for both. You should prepare them to have a job in society, but you should also prepare them to be able to survive if they don't have a job in society. They should know how to fish. They should know how to hunt. They should know how to build a weapon. They should know how to build tools in order to, do the ground and, common things that they can use. You should know how to use tools and make tools for your life in the kitchen that do not use electricity. You should know how to, do all of those kinds of things. It's not that you might not ever use them. You might just have a knowledge of them. And as long as they have that knowledge, it is, and that ability to think. Nobody's thinking. I don't know what this whole thing about being scared of thinking is, but you need to think. You need to teach them how to think. You need to teach them how to reason. You need to teach them how to write down the problem that they're having and write all of the spider webs around that problem as to different options and the roadblocks and which one pays off the best. Which decision is going to give the biggest dividends, which has the biggest risks, and how to actually think through a problem so that they have multiple responses to a problem. And it should be a spider web. It should start as the problem, and then you should have little things coming out on all directions from that problem as to all the different options that they have available to them. And even options that they might think are not available to them, but they can problem solve as to how to make them available to them. Your child should be able to make sure that they are within the law. That each of those options maintains the structure of the law in order to keep the laws intact. And you're learning what happens when you don't keep the laws intact, and when people think that they're above the law or they sabotage the law, which it does. Anybody that thinks that they're above the law, you're basically sabotaging yourself. It may not feel like it's going to get to you right away, but sabotaging the law by breaking the law or feeling like you're above the law will eventually come back and be a big problem for you. And not just for you, it'll be a big problem for the world. It'll be a worldwide problem. So what else should you be teaching your children in homeschool? They should know astronomy. They should know how to look up into the sky. They should be able to identify stars, planets. They should be able to identify where they are in the sky during different seasons. They should be able to tell direction by stars to some degree. They should be able to predict where a star is going to be at a particular time of the night. It's a little bit of a being able to tell time not by watch, but by that's my alarm. But being able to tell time by other means other than digital and other than this fire alarm goes off at everything. But they should be able to do basic telling time. They should be able to build a square structure. They should know how to build furniture. They should know how to build a table. They should know how to build a basic canoe. They should be able to, provide entertainment for themselves. So whether it's art, whether it's music, whether it's journaling and writing, they should know elocution, how to speak, how to pronounce things, how to carry on a conversation, how to host other people, how to socialize, how to speak to a boss, how to gather a group, how to organize a group. All of those things are extremely important. Let's see, what else should they know? Women, you should know how to build a clay pot. You should be able to go outside in your surroundings and come up with the tools, basic rudimentary types of things like bowls, utensils, whether they're mixing bowls or cooking bowls. You should know how to cook over a fire. You should know how to use what's available to you. You should know how to clean a fish. You should know how to use the animals that are in your area, how to clean them, how to gut them, how to prepare them for your family so that they're not poisonous. You should know all of these things. I'm not saying that you're going to survive on deer meat alone, but I'm saying that if you have deer in your area, and you should know how to kill that deer, you should know how to dress that deer, you should know how to clean it, you should know how to use every single part of that deer. That doesn't mean just the meat. That means knowing how to use the hooks. That means being able to use every single piece and part of whatever it is that you kill for whatever it is that you can do in that homestead, or whatever you can do in that area. We're making chicken and dumplings, guys, so this is getting really good. Yum. So we just fixed some chicken. I've got some onions, some peppers, some carrots, and we're gonna actually add some broth to that. And we're gonna make a little bit of a, I'm gonna make a little bit of a soupy kind of thing there and make these chicken and dumplings, which I'm excited to eat today. I got the idea out of Food and Wine magazine, so even though we don't drink wine, I love the gourmet cooking that they do in that particular magazine. This one's kind of an old homey one. This is one that we used to make when I was kids, so it's actually a really nostalgic recipe. And it's easy. These are really easy and they're so hearty. This is a really good one for winter, but we're kind of having it during the summer, or the end of summer anyway. So anyway, those are a few tips for homeschoolers. Parents, you need to make sure that your children are so much more advanced, and if there is a collapse in the system, that your children will be the rising stars, but that they can also compete in today's world where the infrastructure is intact and is doing well. So you should be prepared for both.